As Yakuza's new kid on the block, Ichiban Kasuga has some huge snakeskin boots to fill. For almost 15 years, Yakuza has been all about Kazuma Kiryu. Even in the titles where he shared the spotlight, Kiryu was still the main man. Yakuza Like a Dragon is a clean slate for the series that first debuted on PS2 back in 2005, and a complete about-turn that dispenses with real-time combat in favour of turn-based ass-whooping. 8 mainline games in, it was high time for a refresh, and happily, Like a Dragon delivers in spades. Not only is the 8th mainline entry in the series a great entry point for newcomers, but it's also a deeply compelling new beginning that long-time fans will relish. A Yakuza game embedded within the framework of an RPG, Like a Dragon has all the trappings you'd traditionally expect from the genre, and Ichi revels in it all as a fervent Dragon Quest fan. Instantly likeable, Kasuga has a lot in common with Kiryu, both honourable souls loyal to a fault seeking their own way within a complicated power structure. The difference is that Ichi lives an unglamorous life, eking out a living at the bottom rung, striving to make his way in the world with nothing to lose. Left for dead in the Yokohama red light district of Ijinko after an 18-year stint in prison, it's not long before he finds himself embroiled in a conspiracy involving the native criminal contingent, and the deeper we descend with him, the more complex and sinister it becomes. Formerly a member of the Tojo subsidiary Arakawa family for much of his life, Kasuga finds himself at a loose end in a new city, without friends or a place to call home. But it's not long before you're forging bonds and assembling your party, banding together with ex-cop Adachi, homeless buddy Nanba, and former hostess Saiko. From there, it's off to Hello Work to find a job before Ichi begins to draw parallels between his real life and the RPG series he's obsessed with. Life really is just an RPG, he remarks at one point, as the thugs you encounter in the streets transform into oddball characters like imp patients with surgical masks and IV drips, dine and dashers armed with giant soda bottles, or sewer-dwelling walking bin bags known as pseudo-trash, who love nothing more than performing a comical jig, to name but a few. Like a Dragon's turn-based combat brings with it more than adequate depth, enabling you to grind out some gold while levelling up your party. It's levelling up as a lifestyle according to Ichi, and unlocking new abilities. You and each of your allies have multiple job roles you can later switch between at Hello Work, so Ichi, Adachi and Nanba can change to breakdancer, bodyguard, enforcer, chef, musician or host, and Saiko, as the lady of the group, can opt for a vocation like idol, hostess or night queen. Each job role comes with its own levelling, its own set of weapons and selection of unique abilities, so you can constantly mix things up, should you feel the combat is growing a little repetitive. Then there's weapon crafting, weapon upgrades and a whole gear system to take into consideration too. Told you it was deep. Like any RPG, there are status effects that can afflict your party like silence, sleep, poison, rage or paralysis, and the combat that unfolds doesn't simply play out before your eyes passively. You can time perfect guards to reduce incoming damage and beckon summons called Pound Mates, Nancy the Crawfish for the win, to aid you in battle. However, that doesn't preclude Yakuza Like a Dragon from confronting you with the odd, cheap and frustrating boss encounter, demanding you assign ample time to grind a few levels, and mercifully the game often warns you when a tough encounter is about to take place. Indeed, Ijincho is divided into regions, each with its own gang to be wary of, be it the Yokohama Liamang in Chinatown, the Kaminjul in the Korean quarters, or Yakuza from the parts of the city where the Seiryu clan is seeking to take you down. Each sector has its own hazard rating to keep in mind, so you'll need to ensure you're a high enough level before simply wandering over the border into a place you're ill-equipped to handle. These were never considerations in a Yakuza game before, but as a full-blooded RPG, they are now. Sure, you can still wield weapons, but you can't directly punch and kick your problems away anymore. You need to strategize. Away from the story and Yokohama's feuding Ijin 3, a trifecta of criminal factions divided from the rest of Japan by a wall of muscle, there's a subterranean dungeon where you can forge ahead grinding out more levels and loot, but there are ample opportunities to grind above ground too. Of course, sub-stories return in abundance, enabling you to get involved in the trivialities and dramas of certain people's lives in Ijincho, whether it's helping a guy find love or stopping a local deviant from pissing in the river. Each sub-story remains a highlight in Yakuza Like a Dragon, and as ever, is well worth seeking them out. Engaging in part-time hero quests all over Ijincho, or getting behind the wheel of a go-kart on the streets in Dragon Kart, which is almost good enough to be a proper full-fledged kart racer by the way, will divert you pleasingly from the story. Meanwhile, collecting cans, going to the cinema and fending off slumber-inducing sheep, and managing an ailing confectionery company are among the other engaging activities that will keep you occupied for hours on end. They're invariably enjoyable and unapologetically bonkers, And of course there's the usual mahjong, karaoke, darts and classic Sega arcade games like Outrun, Super Hang-On and Virtua Fighter 2. This means you're never hard up for things to do in Ijincho. There's even a Pokemon piss take that sees you collecting the data of different enemies to add to your Suji decks, and vocational exams to take that are more fun than they have any right to be. Put it all together and it's impossible not to declare Yakuza Like a Dragon's new direction for the series an unmitigated triumph. Ichiban's enthusiasm with his dreams of becoming a hero proves infectious, and while he may think he's worthy of only a dragonfish tattoo on his back, we think he's worthy of something more like a dragon. Yakuza Like a Dragon is about the importance of friendship and striving to become a better person, which is a message we could all do with right now. It also happens to be a sensational new dawn for a series that's brave enough to shake up the formula and accomplished enough to pull it off with aplomb. To quote Ichi himself, let's do some hero shit.
Yes!
Yeah!
Ready?
You're the man! You're the man! You're the